Torment is acquired as well as bliss exceptionally miserable to report the death of Regina Lord's child, Ian Alexander Jur, who kicked the bucket by self-destruction days after his 26th birthday celebration. Now to everyone that she has no text the generous flood of adoration for her family and her child, she feels a debt of gratitude, I told Viv. I said she going to require some serious help, yes, she has her family around her yet. When I let you know we going to have to lift up her and simply give her only love, very much like each and every other big name out there. Regina's life hasn't precisely been the walk in the park. The vast majority accept the existence of a various honor-winning entertainer would be the main explanation. A large portion of us figured her life to be excitement-filled in any case, is on the grounds that she's confidential about her life. And we can't discuss what we don't know, can we? Well, there's been a change in tides as reports have recently emerged about a portion of the catastrophes the popular entertainer has needed to endure and accept me when I say it's not pretty. Next to having a more than troublesome youth, Regina has additionally needed to manage two notable individuals passing on in her life, all while as yet keeping up with the charm expected of a VIP of her status. It's been a long, troublesome street for this lady, and the subtleties she's uncovered about it will take your breath away, so remain tuned till the end. I was music. Generally the greatest VIPs, as a rule, get the best things life brings to the table. And keeping in mind that cuts across the best houses, vehicles, and fashioner items, they additionally get to experience the rage of life like each and every other individual. Regina is by all actions a hotshot. The Oscar and Brilliant Globe-winning entertainer has featured in films as boundless as Young Men in the Hood, Jerry Maguire, A Cinderella Story, the entire way to in the event that Beale Road could talk the last option of which won her those merited honors. Yet she is significantly more than a renowned and fruitful individual in Broadway. Regina is a dearest figure in Hollywood. Regina is loaded with life. Chief Ferry Jenkins said as a component of a 2021 Vanity Fair main story on her. In spite of the fabulousness, glitz industry regard, and honors, the entertainer unfortunately hasn't consistently had things simple in life. She has needed to persevere through too much decimating times, which he has spoken about genuinely in many meetings. Everything began with the intricacies of managing her folks getting separated quite early on. While separation might be a ultra-normal event, its belongings aren't any less obliterating. Yet this entertainer doesn't have to go to science to realize that this generally will be valid. Her own folks, Gloria and Thomas Ruler, separated when she was 8 years of age. And this time in her life more than transformed the little kid, portraying the occasions, paving the way to her mother and father's detachment. Regina made sense of that. They dozed in various rooms and contended boisterously for quite a while before it in the end reached a crucial stage. My folks direct during and after their separation, from the steady battling to their possible alienation, was extremely disheartening and harmful to me. The entertainer wrote in the 2017 book he never got back home meeting stories and expositions from girls on existence without their dads. I was more frustrated and, surprisingly, more hurt when my dad appeared to float out of our lives. I just acknowledged a lot later that the separation truly had essentially nothing to do with that. It had more to do with his identity as a man. Fortunately, Gloria, her mother, stayed committed to her children, my sister, and I were most certainly permitted to think ambitiously, Regina told USA Today. My mom put no limitations on that, much to her dismay. This was just the start of an extensive rundown of obstacles that planned to hit her as she ventured into the spotlight after Regina's folks got formally separated. From she and her more youthful sister Raina kept a cozy relationship with their dad for quite a while as they were remaining at his place many ends of the week. Yet all that was brief. Then there was a shift. The star wrote, and he never returned home. I can't pinpoint when or how it began, yet incidentally my father just floated away those each and every other end of the week visit dialed back as well. Yet I didn't see it immediately quick forward to when Regina turned into a grown-up. And as of now, broke into the acting business. Thomas Lord, her dad, was tragically determined to have Parkinson's sickness, the significance of that, and what that implied, and like you said, despite the fact that he was unable to peruse. And he was unable to compose feel. Definitely I didn't have the foggiest idea what it was, or what it would mean for his life. Yet the possibility of him confronting a serious medical problem was shocking to me. She composed, and things just deteriorated. She uncovered that she and her more established sister Pat needed to make it their responsibility to deal with their dad, until his passing later in 2009. In those last years, Regina expressed that she could have detected how he was feeling. I'm certain he had laments about the past. I could see it all over. I had laments too. I lamented the quantity of years that it passed without us having a superior relationship. While the Harder They Fall star hasn't expressed a lot of about Thomas, beyond the setting she has conceded that she could have applied a thing to two she got from him in her movie First Time at the Helm one night in Miami, enlightening CBS concerning the film's heroes. I felt like I knew these men. I saw my child in these discussions. I saw my dad in these discussions. They love their weak, their solid naturalizer symbols that we have placed on petted stools. And we have failed to remember that there were men first, they were fathers, they had fears they had. As of late as a long time back, the entertainer was at last ready to comprehend her dad's viewpoint better, as she just figured out that her granddad, who was around for the majority of her life as a youngster, and she'd accepted, at least for now, that was additionally essential, for her father's really wasn't the fantasy father to Thomas' statistics records. From 1940 show that Regina's granddad had two separate families in two distinct urban communities. Regina's dad and Grandma Ruby resided in Memphis, yet he was lawful hitched to a lady named Cora, who resided in Chicago when Regina previously read the evaluation record. She said, "I don't comprehend his twofold resides," had never been examined in her family. Hearing this, likewise gave Regina another point of view on Ruby's life decisions. My grandma was an extremely miserable lady. I recollect that as a young lady, Regina said anyway. This wasn't the finish of the entertainer's spat with the downs of life on the grounds, though with every year she aged, she had considerably more horrendous calamities hit her where it hurt. It went on, with her marriage following similar way, as her folks, something she had trusted, could never happen to her a very long time. After Regina saw her folks go through the experience of separation, she went through her very own separation in 2007. She was hitched to music maker Ian Alexander Sr., with who she had one child named Ian after his dad. However, circumstances didn't pan out between them in the end, something the entertainer lamented. For the well-being of their child, I was hitched for a very long time before my significant other, and I isolated, and in the end separated from Regina. Wrote in he never returned home. Similarly, as I'd watched my folks contending and battling, my child watched his folks contending and battling. It resembled history rehashing the same thing. And I really regretted him, seeing that fortunately her post-separate from relationship with her ex was nothing similar to her folks had been. It's sort of insane to feel that I've presently been separated from longer than I was hitched, yet I value the excursion since it took my ex and I back to a kinship that assisted us with becoming extraordinary co-guardians. She made sense of in the distribution. She additionally added that her child was the explanation. The choice came openly to her in any case. Hyan has been out with you here. He is here on the honors circuit. And what's he like to go to grant shows with? Is he defensive of you? Is he fun at these honor shows? He is such a lot of fun. After the breakdown of her marriage, Regina strikingly dated individual entertainer Malcolm Jamal Warner. For several years, however, she kept it hidden. I need to save something for myself. And that must be my own connections, she told the Everyday Monster in 2012. Neither one of us is out there discussing it, and we will not be. Nevertheless, Regina and Warner at last separated in 2013. As revealed by New York Day Today, news you realize I want to improve at it. I've been so occupied with work. And my sweethearts resemble, do you think a man's about to go thump on the entryway? And like I'm here, just about 10 years after her last freely known relationship, Regina needed to manage perhaps of the most terrible fiasco that might at any point occur for any mother, the deficiency of her kid, yet to be determined of Regina Lord's life. There was no doubt that her kid preceded work. She didn't abandon her profession to deal with Ian Alexander Jur. However, she compromised. The star chose not to acknowledge any acting position that removed her from her, and her child's old neighborhood life struck her in a not-so-great kind of way early last year. After she lost her child, the actual piece of her life that appeared to mean the most to her, the entertainer's child, Ian Alexander Jur kicked the bucket by self-destruction on his 26th birthday celebration on the 22nd of January. As per individuals, our family is crushed at the most profound level by the deficiency of Ian. Regina said in a proclamation shipped off individuals. He is a brilliant light who thought often so profoundly about the satisfaction of others. Our family requested conscious thought during this private time. Thank you. Make being a mother my most noteworthy achievement. I love you. Cheers. Ian's demise was formally controlled as self-destruction by the Los Angeles province coroner. A representative affirmed to individuals he was Regina's lone kid, who she imparted to her ex-record maker, Ian Alexander Sr. Regina recently let individuals know that he was an astonishing young fellow, as he was continuing in his dad's melodic strides. Yet as a DJ, regardless of her developing accomplishment as an entertainer, and Chief Regina said at the time that Ian was her greatest wellspring of pride. In the wake of isolating from Ian's dad in 2007 following 9 years of marriage, Regina had